I don't know anymore what I have to do here, guys. I don't know how to put a stop to it, but pro players keep on being idiots, and at this point in time, I don't think it's going to stop. Organizations keep on responding about this kind of thing. We rarely see punishments about it as well. That's going to be derogatory, defamatory, racial, homophobic, whatever language it is that you should not be using, but pro players somehow continue to use. I was about to head home, out the door, and I read an article, guys, about RED Canids. If you guys do not know as well, they are a Brazilian CSGO organization. Recently, as of a few months ago, had a big signing, that being FNX, a widely regarded and I would say respected, looked up to, notorious, infamous Brazilian CSGO player. I probably went on a bit too long about him, but when RED Canids signed him, it was like, whoa, you know, they must be making some moves out there. Some of the moves they did make in terms of their signings, and now the responses about their players are now out. Two of their players now accused of offensive language in online matches, the first of which much more serious. That's going to be Lotto. If you guys have not heard about this somehow, apparently in an online match, he used supposed racial slurs or what could be looked upon as derogatory language in an online match, which actually ended up being translated to, and again, a rough translation, calling his opponents equivalent to the monkey plague. If you guys do not know, especially when it comes to South American regions, certainly that can be looked upon as a racial slur. And the comments, well, they're calling for expulsion of these guys, even more so an embarrassment of these two still being a part of the organization. It's a mixed slew of responses. Every time I cover this kind of stuff, there are always people saying, oh, he didn't mean it. Oh, it's a joke. Oh, it's not that bad. When you are a pro player on top of the level and you are a prominent figure, you have to abide by even stricter rules than what you might say in your friend group out there. When you say it publicly, you affect what your organization looks like. And in this case, it looks pretty bad. And I always try and understand where people are coming from, especially as I grew up. I've certainly heard a lot of mixed variety of language and words used out there. And so I do understand where a lot of people are coming from, saying, oh, that's not offensive. It might not offend you. When it comes time for a general public and an audience for esports, yes, it's offensive language. Yes, it can be considered widely as racial slurs out there, which we've seen other pros kind of ride that line of things they should and should not say. Other teammate of FNX, other teammate on this same roster as well. Yes, half the roster being accused of offensive language. That's going to be Nithon. I believe what we can actually understand from translation, guys, a lesser sentence here, or kind of a lesser serious notion, as he was actually just using toxic behavior in an online match as well. The whole entire team and organization has officially responded as well with their statement, a rough translation, again, for all of you guys. At RED Canids, we repudiate any form of racism, xenophobia, or general hatred toward others. In the case of Nithon, we do not agree with the toxic attitude and being a red athlete. He has been set as an example. The same has already been communicated and received as a warning. As for the video of Lotto, apparently was actually rescued something from old, so before the time he was a part of this lineup. However, the player nevertheless received a warning, being told this will not be a reoccurring topic. And with that statement, no real punishment coming, they have now joined my list in my little notebook, which my mother gave me just a few weeks ago, and it's slowly piling up with video ideas for all of you guys. On top of all those video ideas is a nice list of organizations out there who, unfortunately enough, I think we've seen it time and time again. I tried to tweet about this. We see very different actions from esports organizations depending upon whether or not the player is a part of the organization yet. We have hard proof out there. Stories I've covered myself about several organizations, 100 Thieves being one of them, Call of Duty teams being many others, that avoid players with sketchy and controversial pasts with saying things like this. Offensive language can certainly keep you off a pro team. We also have several organizations out there which avoid punishing a player, though, if they say those offensive things once they've already been signed. With that being a part of, and on top of that list as well, about teams kind of taking preventative action, not hiring people with sketchy pasts. Cloud9 is also one of those on top of that. When it comes to teams, though, who have then signed players or creators who use this language and not made punishments towards them, FaZe Clan a couple of times, Splice, Na'Vi, we have Liquid, and now RED Canids join that list as well, guys, where apparently players, once they are signed, get a warning. Now, I do think with this case, you know, RED Canids has offered a warning, a one warning policy. If this actually is broken again, these players will likely be punished, if not removed from the organization. I do respect that, and at least they have clarified, like many of the organizations I just talked about, they don't clarify their position on this, and whether it's a warning, whether it's a punishment, most teams really don't respond with detail like this, so I do respect respect that, but they join the ongoing list of teams out there who seemingly are to some extent okay with what their players say that is wrong, as long as they get a slap on the wrist and not do it again. Until next time, I hope you guys all enjoy breaking down, as per usual, gaming news here on the channel. If you guys have a story you want me to cover, my DMs are always open, as well as the comment section down below. I hope you guys all enjoy the rest of your nights and mornings and days. I will see you all back here sometime soon. We have a podcast coming out in a couple of hours, and we have Esports Talk After Dark. Another episode drops tonight, all around the League of Legends team known as Griffin, and, well, how much they lost at Worlds this year. Until then, take care of yourselves. I'll see y'all back here soon.